you made an interesting video recently talking about how Lightfall is pretty much narrative-wise, basically Destiny 3. This is like the next evolution in the saga, the light versus dark, and now this is pretty much like the final main chapter. Everything's popping off. Obviously, we've seen everything's going off. The witness is here, the pyramids, the traveler is traveled, the traveler had actually gone somewhere. It's like actual things are happening. It's not just there's a threat, go take him out. Like, if it actually does feel like Destiny is almost coming to a close. I don't know if you say close, maybe an ultimate conclusion, but you know, it's actually going down. So it does seem like Destiny 3 stuff.
Yeah, the phrase I used in the video you're referencing a lot is inflection points, and this definitely feels like one of those. You know, like everything has started to change. Things are pivoting. You know, just like how in kind of the end of Forsaken, we suddenly started to see this darker, grittier version of Destiny, and the entirety of the game really did shift on its axis to accommodate that kind of feeling. It's shifting again, you know. We've moved from a very kind of light definition of an apocalypse to a, oh my god, this is really quite apocalyptic. Like, this is bad. We're in trouble here. So yeah, it's definitely an inflection point for Destiny, and I think nothing epitomizes that more than the actual movement of the Traveler.
Yeah,
you know, I sit here and I made that video before the cutscene came out, and I feel as though it only reinforced the point of sitting there and making it very clear that this is a new kind of chapter for Destiny, but not just on a narrative sense, but also on a gameplay one. You know, the changes I was referencing and the original quote I referenced was actually from Astacross, who made a very clear point of sitting there and saying that the gameplay changes coming with, you know, loadouts, new mod systems, all these other bits and pieces, that was all very much Destiny 3 changes, type changes.
Big overhaul. And,
yeah, the massive nature of the overhaul that seems to be coming with Lightfall, to me at very least, is indicative of the idea that Bungie as a studio, had they not been doing the kind of annual releases and continuously making expansions for this game, would have made this into a Destiny 3, or if Activision plans had been their way, maybe a Destiny 4. I don't know how that quite pans out.
It wasn't the contract, yeah.
The
old one, like 10 years ago, there was a Destiny 4 planned, which is funny.
Which is crazy that we'd have been playing that by now.
Yeah. Because that got pushed back by, I think, like 2 or 3. I think Destiny, I think in that contract, Destiny 1 was supposed to release in like 2013?
Yeah, 2013, and then also it was meant to be Destiny 2 2 years later, and it's like, whoa, okay.
That's ambitious. Very ambitious.
They, I think they tried to pull the Call of Duty production schedule that doesn't quite work like that. I feel like we've learned much better because of it. I mean,
it makes sense. It's a very Activision business model. It makes sense for them, and it has worked. You know, Call of Duty is pretty successful, but I think they found out that this isn't going to work with Destiny. Destiny's not the game that... Imagine if we were on Destiny 4. Imagine losing all your stuff and starting over. Like,
for the fourth time.
The transition from 1 to 2 was bad enough, but I mean, as Bungie kind of... a lot of Bungie like employees and higher-ups have hinted and alluded they didn't even really want to make Destiny 2. If it was up to them, they would have just made Destiny 1 and then continued. Obviously, there's the engine problems. There's a lot of technical reasons why they wanted to make a new game. But realistically, it seemed like they were pretty unhappy about making Destiny 2. So Destiny 3 was kind of a no-no. Would definitely be. I mean, interested to get your thoughts on this, but for some reason, I see a lot of people that seem to think that there will be a Destiny 3. The Destiny 3 will come out, or as if it's like magically going to appear after Final Shape. But I feel like Bungie made it pretty clear that would be a huge undertaking, and that Destiny 2 is the plan, and they're adding all the Destiny 1 content in, and this whole, Beyond Light, Witch Queen, Lightfall, Final Shape is the Destiny 3 content, and just...
Yeah. I don't know about whether that's truly the case or not, but I think it's very much that point at which, if Bungie ever does want to go ahead and do things, it will probably materialize after the Light and Dark saga is finished. So what I expect, and kind of what I hope happens, is that you get a point at which the Light and Dark saga finishes up and they just drop the 2 from Destiny. And at that point, I think you've got something there. Obviously this doesn't change the fact that we definitely do need to have big overhauls to the game. The game has been out since 2017, so that's 6 going on 7 years at certain points. By the time it gets to final shape, this is going to be an aging game, and this is definitely starting to show with the number of errors that come out on a regular basis, and with the amount of bugs that will occasionally happen at launch and all sorts of different things. And, they're still able to pull off some pretty smooth stuff. Like Witch Queen's launch was unbelievably smooth on a technical level, but it's, the more that stuff happens, the more likely it is that we're going to sit there and see bad things going on for future releases as far as the technical state of the game. So even if they do keep it as Destiny 2 or just drop the 2 and keep the same characters and same progression and everything like that, I think we are still going to be looking at a place where they need to do big overhauls to things. I'm not a game developer, so I don't know what it means when you sit there and say, overhaul the engine.
Yeah. The engine is something that players very much overuse and kind of just say, oh yeah, just fix the engine, I'll just get a new engine. But I feel like actual developers are always rolling their eyes. Even I know that it's nowhere near as simple as that. There's just the engine and just, just get a new engine. It's like, well, that poses its own new problems, and it's way more complicated than just like getting a new engine. And most even new engines, you build off the old architecture and then you upgrade and you change things. But yeah, it's always something that people talk about.
I've learned to stop backseat developing because most of the stuff I say is kind of ridiculous in terms of the actual game development thing. I sit there and I preface everything now by saying I'm not a game developer, but it would be cool if this was a thing.
Yeah.
Because you know what, like, some of the stuff that we ask for seems completely reasonable from our perspective, and it's just like, well, why can't you just make more heavy ammo drop in Destiny 1,
Why can't you just make a whole new game every 2 years and just make a new engine and just it seems so simple from my perspective. Like, there's definitely a lot of that.